February up in Boston, Kaylee Fratkin and Shannon Doyle, all of the 5-year players, 5-season players in the league, were named All-Stars, and there are 2 of them right there.
That's correct. Yes, absolutely. And very excited for Elena Orlando and Kira Dostal in particular. They will be making their All-Star debut in their 5th season with the NWHL.
It's great. And Orlando in her 4th season with this Connecticut team. Dostal's played her entire career with the Riveters, and Orlando played season 1 with the New York Riveters back when they played in Brooklyn in the coldest building on earth.
Oh, Aviator, but did that building shake? My goodness.
It did. I did one game there, season 1. The Whale ended up winning that game. They had to come back late, and I remember Cheyenne D'Arcangelo had a couple of late third period goals, but it was a wild one and a fun one to call.
Oh, that's another name as far as all-time Whale players. D'Arcangelo played in the league for a little bit, but then went over to Canada to play in the CWHL.
Played with Connecticut, played a year of Buffalo. Meanwhile, 6:10 to play in this first period. Still scoreless here. Donovan tied up by Orlando in the neutral zone. And, you mentioned Elena Orlando getting the All-Star nod, which is great. Meanwhile, here's a chance by Richards. Oh, she looked backdoor in that pass. It was broken up. You don't get a lot of the stay-at-home defenders getting all-star consideration because they don't put up enough points offensively. That's what everyone looks at first and foremost. As Doyle tried to put one in on net, that was blocked down low in front. And Kleinbach got it back, nearly hooked down to the ice, able to keep her footing, gets driven down. No call there, pops back up. Vlasic finds the puck on the right side with 5:35 to go, and she'll whirl it around the boards. Kleinbach there to chip it into the corners. A good shift here for Connecticut to keep the puck deep in the zone while they started to change partially. And Minnesota looks to get it out of harm's way. Donovan pokes it to the right side, and they do. Worked down by Richards from the right wing side. Got turned around by Doyle. Poked back toward the corner by Payson. Regained in behind the net. And here is Shannon Doyle. Along the half boards, Rosaliva looking out in front, bouncing. Puck shot in on goal, and it hit off the side of the net. That one tickled the netting. That was put in hard by Payson as we're under 5 minutes to play in the period. Now Megan Lawrence, number 20 for the Whitecaps, comes in deep. Back out toward the blue line and pitched down the wall by the Whitecaps before regained by Beatty of Connecticut. Looks to get it out, but Oliva keeps it in. Shoveled out and deep. Dunstrom turns away from the puck. Vlasic is there. Back to the line, and Oliva again to the half wall. Lawrence looking backdoor. At the top of the crease there was Haley Schmid, who has shown herself offensively here in this first period. Just 1 goal on the season, but a chance to play on that top line with Jonna Curtis out. And she's tried to get some opportunities. Has looked pretty good. Here comes Vlasic. Vlasic, top of the circle, shoots one. Levier with the blocker save. Now coming over is Broad. She overskates the puck, lunging after it with a second effort. Minnesota got it to center, regained by Marchand, ahead for Schwenzfire, 2-on-1. Here's Broad with Casey Anderson. Broad lost her footing, put it on net. That one could have been whistled. Looked like she got a stick from behind, caught up in her skates a bit. 3:40 to play in the period. Back in the left wing circle, Broad. Her shot gets blocked, comes right back to her. To Marchand, fires through traffic, and it goes wide. Left point Orlando moves it down. Schwenzfire along the half boards, gets pinned to the wall by Schmid. And the rink-wide pass, and here come the Whitecaps through centers. Schamel, 1-on-2. Schamel, sharp angle try. Waleko got a piece of it. Pitchfork toward the corner, and lobbed over the head of the lunging. Zone will move it back to the right for Barnes. Turned over at the line for Hannah Beatty, who pokes it into the Minnesota zone with 2:25 to go. in this scoreless first period. Shots unofficially 11-9 for Connecticut.
And thank you for those who are dealing with some of our technical issues. We appreciate you relaying what you're hearing in the comments so then I can relay that to our team. We're working on some of the choppiness, so hopefully we can get that square.
Puck is down low in front. Spun off the puck was Houston. 2 minutes to play in this first period. Long outlet for Thunstrom, a bit too far, but now taken back by Payson, and she comes across the line offside with 1:55 to go in this first period of action. Still scoreless between the Whale and the Whitecaps.
And we see in the chat, Phil, people asking about Jonna Curtis. We talked about that earlier, I think while we were still having sound issues. Seemed that she got a injury in that game on Saturday against the Riveters. Did not play Sunday and did not travel. So we get Sam Donovan, former Connecticut Whale forward, that makes the trip for Minnesota this weekend.
Sam Donovan had a solid career at Brown. Was a captain as an upperclassman for the Brown Bears. We're under 2 minutes to go in the period. Centering pass ahead a bit too far for Mennigan. Mennigan trying to get to it, but pouncing on that puck is Levier. And a stoppage with 1:41 to go here in this first period. Face-off will be to the right of Levier. And Vlasic, who is at 61% to lead the league on faceoffs, is going to get thrown out of the circle, and Mennigan will come in on the draw, wins it back. Here's Beatty, shot through traffic, deflected wide out in front as we come up on 90 seconds to play in this first period. Here's Thunstrom. Tons of speed across the line, looks to flip it out in front. It skips by Audra Richards.
Good job by Hannah Beatty there to hold off Richards.
Well, you're seeing some growth from this Connecticut Whale team. They haven't gotten a win yet this season, but it does feel evident at the very least ever since Colton Orr's been able to come in and work with the team in practices. The games have been a bit closer. There's been a bit more cohesion from this group of players.
Yes, indeed. And these things take time, and not having their head coach, you have to sometimes wait. You can't settle into something not knowing what his vision for this team is. And so, yes, I think that we're starting to see, hopefully, what this Whale team is going to be.
Traffic out in front. The shot put in on by Megan Lawrence. That was a good leg pad save by Waleko. 35 seconds and counting left to go in this period. And now with Waleko playing as well as she did last week, you could say there's a little bit of a goaltending controversy between Waleko and Sonia Shelley.
Controversy, maybe not, but competition for sure. But also, Sonia Shelley put in, even though we're not quite halfway through the season, a lot of work
She has.
early on.
And I wouldn't be surprised if she gets the call tomorrow if they split.
Yes.
And that could be something when you have back-to-back games. We've seen that a lot. We'll see that again next weekend when Boston comes in next Saturday and Sunday to wrap up the 2019 part of the Connecticut Whale schedule as the horn sounds, ending the first period of play. So 20 minutes in the books. Connecticut and Minnesota scoreless. We'll be back with the second period in just a little bit. You're watching the NWHL on Twitch. February up in Boston, Kaylee Fratkin and Shannon Doyle, all of the 5-year players, 5-season players in the league, were named All-Stars, and there are 2 of them right there.
That's correct. Yes, absolutely. And very excited for Elena Orlando and Kira Dostal in particular. They will be making their All-Star debut in their 5th season with the NWHL.
It's great, and Orlando in her 4th season with this Connecticut team. Dostal's played her entire career with the Riveters, and Orlando played season 1 with the New York Riveters back when they played in Brooklyn in the coldest building on earth.
Oh, Aviator, but did that building shake? My goodness.
It did. I did one game there, season 1. The Whale ended up winning that game. They had to come back late, and I remember Cheyenne D'Arcangelo had a couple of late third-period goals, but it was a wild one and a fun one to call.
Oh, that's another name as far as all-time Whale players. D'Arcangelo played in the league for a little bit, but then went over to Canada to play in the CWHL.
Played with Connecticut, played a year at Buffalo. Meanwhile, 6:10 to play in this first period. Still scoreless here. Donovan tied up by Orlando in the neutral zone. And, you mentioned Elena Orlando getting the All-Star nod, which is great. Meanwhile, here's a chance by Richards. Oh, she looked backdoor in that pass. It was broken up. You don't get a lot of the stay-at-home defenders getting All-Star consideration because they don't put up enough points offensively. That's what everyone looks at first and foremost. As Doyle tried to put one in on net, that was blocked down low in front. And Kleinbach got it back, nearly hooked down to the ice, able to keep her footing, gets driven down. No call there, pops back up. Vlasic finds the puck on the right side with 5:35 to go, and she'll whirl it around the boards. Kleinbach there to chip it into the corner. It's a good shift here for Connecticut to keep the puck deep in the zone while they started to change partially. And Minnesota looks to get it out of harm's way. Donovan pokes it to the right side, and they do. Worked down by Richards from the right wing side. Got turned around by Doyle. Poked back toward the corner by Payson. Regained in behind the net. And here is Shannon Doyle. Along the half boards, Rosaliva looking out in front, bouncing. Puck shot in on goal, and it hit off the side of the net. That one tickled the netting. That was put in hard by Payson as we're under 5 minutes to play in the period. Now Megan Lawrence, number 20 for the Whitecaps, comes in deep. Back out toward the blue line and pitched down the wall by the Whitecaps before regained by Beatty of Connecticut. Looks to get it out, but Oliva keeps it in. Shoveled out and deep. Dunstrom turns away from the puck. Vlasic is there. Back to the line, and Oliva again to the half wall. Lawrence looking backdoor. At the top of the crease there was Haley Schmid, who has shown herself offensively here in this first period. Just 1 goal on the season, but a chance to play on that top line with Jonna Curtis out. And she's tried to get some opportunities. Has looked pretty good. Here comes Vlasic. Vlasic, top of the circle, shoots one. Levier with the blocker save. Now coming over is Broad. She overskates the puck, lunging after it with his second effort. Minnesota got it to center, regained by Marchand, ahead for Schwentzfire, 2-on-1. Here's Broad with Casey Anderson. Broad lost her footing, put it on net. That one could have been whistled. Looked like she got a stick from behind, caught up in her skates a bit. 3:40 to play in the period. Back in the left wing circle, Broad. Her shot gets blocked, comes right back to her. To Marchand, fires through traffic, and it goes wide. Left point Orlando moves it down. Schwentzfire along the half boards, gets pinned to the wall by Schmid. And the rink-wide pass, and here come the Whitecaps through centers. Schamel, 1-on-2. Schamel, sharp angle try. Waleko got a piece of it. Pitchfork toward the corner, and lobbed over the head of the lunging. Zone will move it back to the right for Barnes. Turned over at the line for Hannah Beatty, who pokes it into the Minnesota zone with 2:25 to go. in this scoreless first period. Shots unofficially 11-9 for Connecticut.
And thank you for those who are dealing with some of our technical issues. We appreciate you relaying what you're hearing in the comments so then I can relay that to our team. We're working on some of the choppiness, so hopefully we can get that square.
Puck is down low in front. Spun off the puck was Houston. 2 minutes to play in this first period. Long outlet for Thunstrom, a bit too far, but now taken back by Payson, and she comes across the line offside with 1:55 to go in this first period of action. Still scoreless between the Whale and the Whitecaps.
And we see in the chat, Phil, people asking about Jonna Curtis. We talked about that earlier, I think, while we were still having sound issues. Seemed that she got a injury in that game on Saturday against the Riveters. Did not play Sunday and did not travel. So we get Sam Donovan, former Connecticut Whale forward, that makes the trip for Minnesota this weekend.
Sam Donovan had a solid career at Brown. Was a captain as an upperclassman for the Brown Bears. We're under 2 minutes to go in the period. Centering pass ahead a bit too far for Mennigan. Mennigan trying to get to it, but pouncing on that puck is Levier. And a stoppage with 1:41 to go here in this first period. Face-off will be to the right of Levier. And Vlasic, who is at 61% to lead the league on faceoffs, is going to get thrown out of the circle, and Mennigan will come in on the draw, wins it back. Here's Beatty, shot through traffic, deflected wide out in front as we come up on 90 seconds to play in this first period. Here's Thunstrom. Tons of speed across the line, looks to flip it out in front. It skips by Audra Richards.
Good job by Hannah Beatty there to hold off Richards.
Well, you're seeing some growth from this Connecticut Whale team. They haven't gotten a win yet this season, but it does feel evident at the very least ever since Colton Orr's been able to come in and work with the team in practices. The games have been a bit closer. There's been a bit more cohesion from this group of players.
Yes, indeed. And these things take time, and not having their head coach, you have to sometimes wait. You can't settle into something not knowing what his vision for this team is. And so, yes, I think that we're starting to see, hopefully, what this Whale team is going to be.
Traffic out in front. The shot put in on by Megan Lawrence. That was a good leg pad save by Waleko. 35 seconds and counting left to go in this period. And now with Waleko playing as well as she did last week, you could say there's a little bit of a goaltending controversy between Waleko and Sonia Shelley.
Controversy, maybe not, but competition for sure. But also, Sonia Shelley put in, even though we're not quite halfway through the season, a lot of work early on.
And I wouldn't be surprised if she gets the call tomorrow if they split.
Yes.
And that could be something when you have back-to-back games. We've seen that a lot. We'll see that again next weekend when Boston comes in next Saturday and Sunday to wrap up the 2019 part of the Connecticut Whale schedule as the horn sounds. Ending the first period of play, so 20 minutes in the books. Connecticut and Minnesota scoreless. We'll be back with the second period in just a little bit. You're watching the NWHL on Twitch.
Okay, let me check. Last update, they were not. Okay. Well, is my mic on? Can I speak to them? Is it on in the chat? That's what I'm asking. Well, I won't be able to. Yeah, keep the feed live. Keep my mic hot so I can talk to them. Hey everyone. Okay, excellent. My mic is on. My mic is on. Are you able? Is everyone able to hear me clearly? I'm going to do a test here. Thank you. All right. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to check the other mic. All right. Erica again in the other mic. Okay. All right. Looks like we're cooking with gas. All right. Next question for everyone: is the audio sounding a little less choppy, or we still have? All right. Excellent. Thank you, Mike. Oops, still a little choppy. Okay. All right. Gonna switch over to the other mic. I appreciate everyone's patience. We just want to try and get this right. All right. Switching to the other mic now. And I'm back. Is this mic still choppy, everyone? Okay. Quieter and choppy. All right. We're going to try and clean up this audio. I'm going to hop off of the mic. I'm going to hop off the mic here in just a little bit, so stick with us. Thank you, everyone, for helping me through the mic check, and hopefully in the second period we'll have better sounding audio for you. Just as a recap, shots are just about even in favor of the Connecticut Whale, 11 to 10 shots on goal unofficially. Really, two really good stops. We got Brooke Waleko with a stop. She's looking good in her second start for the Connecticut Whale. Amanda Levier doing Amanda Levier things. Oh, I hear the choppiness there. Phil, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I don't hear you very well.
No, you're not going to hear
Yeah.
me. We still that's what we're trying to work on that
All
now
right,
so
we're
we can hear
working
each
on
other. But
Any
it sounds like
thoughts?
people can hear
They
us.
can hear us.
That's
Yep,
good.
all of this is happening. This is the behind the scenes,
Yeah,
folks. You're getting a little taste.
and I promised Erica and I actually called the first period. It is being recorded. It was recorded.
Indeed, indeed. Any thoughts on the first period while we have folks in the feed?
Yeah, no, it's great that everyone's joining, and we thank everyone for their patience and understanding. Well, you could still eventually you got to watch the game, so. My thoughts on this first period that the Whale played really strong, and Minnesota had their moments. Both goaltenders have looked real solid, but I thought what the Whale were able to do was get some sustained zone time, which is always a key to success. Just kind of work the pucks down low, cycle in deep. Didn't always generate a lot of offensive chances, but it generated opportunities, and I thought that's where they looked their best in the first 20 minutes.
Yes, indeed, absolutely. One of the better periods that we've seen. We know they had that bye week. We know that presumably Colton is getting more familiar with his players and they with him. We talked about that a little bit. And of course, we were able to shout out a few of the All-Stars that are on the ice. All of the original NWHLers that have remained in the league, there are 8 of them total, have been announced as the first 8 players for the All-Star game. Team Packer versus Team Dempsey.
And it's great that, Madison Packer and Jillian Dempsey getting chances to captain for the All-Star game, being 5-year players and the top 2 scorers in league history. It kind of makes sense for them to be the captains coming up. And I do think it's great that all the 5-year players are a part of the All-Star festivities this season. And really, when you look at those players and their performance on the ice, Kira Dossel hasn't played many games yet. That's maybe the one exception. But otherwise, they've been all-star players for their respective teams.
Agreed. 100% agreed. Well, I think, Phil, we still have one more thing that we have to fix in the feed, and that is we're getting it squad mode because we have another game in Boston. Folks
there we
want
go.
The squad mode, and I'm also going to see if we can work on some of the scratchiness from my microphone. But and also, I think I might sneak and get a chip witch.
Oh, there you go.
Every time they do this puck this puck event here in intermission, I get hungry. But all right, let's
there you go.
Keep us posted, folks. I think we're going to step away for a little bit, hopefully with better audio, and definitely have the second period for you.
There you go. It's scoreless after 1. We'll be back in a bit, and you're watching the NWHL on Twitch. Check, check, check. No. Hold on.
Wait. I didn't plug anything in yet.
Oh. Check 1, 2. Yeah, I can hear something in my left ear. It's a little scratchy, but I can hear it. Erica, can you talk to me real quick?
Yep. Test 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I can hear myself. It's a little robotic sounding, but I can at least hear.
Let's see.
Can you hear me?
I cannot hear you.
Erica still can't hear me.
Not through the headset.
Okay. All right. Now talk, Erica. Can you hear? Can you hear me?
I cannot hear you.
You still can't hear me?
No.
Okay. Can you
can
hear
hear
yourself?
myself.
And
It's
I can hear
choppy,
you. All right.
I'm trying to get Mike to do this.
Sure. No. Of course.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear myself.
I can't hear you.
She still can't hear me, but you never could hear me.
Nope, never could hear you.
Thinking for a second. Let me see. Hello? Yeah, I can hear myself. Erica, can you hear me?
I can't.
All right, so I'm going to try one more thing here. I think this is you. Oh, wait, no.
I heard you on that.
Yeah, I think that's what we're
Whatever
trying to
you
do.
just did.
Okay.
What is...
Erica, can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
You can hear me?
I can, and I can hear
Can
myself.
you still hear me? Yeah, I can hear her and I can hear myself.
Oh, we're also live.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
We're fixing audio issues. Well, we prefaced it, Erica. We said we were working on this, so.
Someone goes in the chat, Manna from Heaven. I remember season 1 when there were no announcers. Then Phil showed up one day.
Wait a minute. I was there for the first game. The very first game.
We did talk about that.
Yeah, we did talk about that earlier. That was a camera which was bought off the shelf that week for the very first game. And I hooked up radio equipment into it, and we got it going. So
What's this logo? I don't know. Does everyone have this floating logo?
No, I don't know what that
I
is.
don't know. It's on my cell phone.
Oh, wait a second. I
Game
think you have that
last
super.
night.
I think this is in the. You're showing this right now, whatever that is. Whatever this graphic is showing on the broadcast.
It's showing right now.
Yes. So I think you kind of superimposed that.
Sweet
I
CG.
was actually just going to enter the team information, but
Oh, okay, that's fine. But they see that, so just letting you know. Okay.
I am hearing myself on the left. I'm hearing Phil on
And
the
that's
right.
and that's fine. That's normally how we end up when we're on these.
Okay.
No, I know that, but you're only feeding out of one channel on each. So okay.
Okay. We're also being told there's no graphics for overlay, score, or time.
That's what they're working on.
Okay. All right.
And hopefully we'll have it for the start of the second, and we'll be back in a few minutes with just that. Guys, as we get set for the start of the second period, the Whale will once again open with their top line of Vlasic, Kleinbach, and Mennigan, along with Beatty and Doyle. Minnesota counters with Schmid, Schamel, and Lawrence, along with Baldwin and Brown.
Yeah, Winnie Brown. She got a nice little shout out at the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame induction. Chrissy Wendell gave her a shout out, as do many people who've come through the state of Minnesota. That's how important she's been to women's hockey there.
The Brott family, obviously Jack Brott, one of the co-coaches on this team, along with Rhonda Engelhart, and a bit of a mini hockey dynasty of sorts in the state. As we are underway to begin this second period, loose puck out in front, and it's scooped up by Schmid. Puck tied up in the corner. Work back around to the near wing side. Here's Kayla Mennigan looking to get it clear. Held in briefly, but now scooped out in the neutral zone by Schmid. Moving to the left wing side, and it's skated across by Baldwin. Shot from the circle, and Woleko with a blocker save as Doyle will pitch it up the wall to Mennigan. Try to poke it by the wall, and a good keep in by Sydney Baldwin. Again, poked back toward the corner, and Beatty will come after it while the Whitecaps make a change. Mennigan with a long pass ahead, out of the reach of Casey Anderson. Oh, they blow an early icing, which should not have been called.
And you see Anderson making her case. Very early whistle. Anderson pointing and objecting.
And the case made, they're going to drop that puck at center ice. Thanks to those of you tuning in on the chat this afternoon. Erica and I do have the chat going on. Mike Murphy, I'm cold in my bedroom right now, so I can't imagine how cold it is in Danbury at the rink. I'll be honest with you, it's not that cold.
It's not as bad. We're also a little higher up.
We are.
So that helps.
When here at the Danbury Arena, when you are near the top of the seating areas, the bleachers, here you do get the heat blowers, and it is considerably warmer than when we are doing the larger television style production, where we are basically right behind the benches and as cold as the players.
Indeed, colder because we're not moving much.
Exactly. We don't have all the gear on either.
That's true.
We're about a minute 35 gone by in this second period. Loose puck in the neutral zone. Marchin tried to move it up, hacked away from her. Schwenzfeier clears it out, and now Lisa Martinson gathers it up deep in her own zone. Ahead now for Barnes. Up the ice across is Donovan. Donovan moving to the right, try to toe drag her way around Taylor Marchin. And then Donovan goes down in the corner, and we'll get the game's first penalty here. It goes on Marchin with a minute and 57 gone by in the second period, and the penalty is tripping.
The Minnesota Whitecaps, I looked this up, are a team, I believe they have the fewest penalty minutes across the league. They are sub 100. Every other team is above 100 minutes cumulative. And then you have teams like Connecticut and the Riveters that are way above 100.
They are 88 penalty minutes on the year for Minnesota. The Whale have 109, which isn't as dramatic a difference, but Minnesota certainly keeps their players out of the penalty box, and they have the best power play in the league at 29%. Puck is in behind. Payson works it back to Thunstrom now for Martinson. Martinson moves it to the left side. It goes through the wickets of Rosaliva. Coming over is Kleinbach. Deflected back toward the corner. Beatty trying to get to it. Finds Kleinbach. Drags back. and whips it out to the line, but no further as Martinson with a keep in. Shot from the point, deflected off the stick of Kleinbach, and it goes over and out of play with 1:32 left in the penalty on Marchand. For the season, the Whale penalty kill is last in the league. It is now up to 64%. If you go back in their past 3 games, Connecticut on their kill, 14 of their last 16. That's just under 88%. That's real good. Meanwhile, Minnesota against the Whale this season, 4 of 7 on their power play. Back to the left side, here's Bouye. Now with Baldwin. Right side. Work back toward the corner. And the Whale look to get it out. Held in by Baldwin. Looks to move it down the boards. Good work there by Schwensfire. She continues to battle. Loose puck in the slot. Schmid down low. Lawrence back up top. The shot goes over the head of Waleko and now deflects toward the corner as Bouye looks to track that down. Tied up briefly, and a great job by Galtieri to get that puck clear. But Minnesota right back in across the line. Here's Nicole Schamel. Cross ice, Bouye, top of the circle, waits. Looks to move to her right. Now finds Schamel in the circle, shooting one, and it climbs the ladder and goes out of play with 42 remaining in the Marchand penalty.
Brooke Waleko showing that she's got a big frame there, able to defend that goal, especially that top half, even when down in her butterfly there.
And off the draw, controlled by Baldwin. Snap pass across, off the skate of Schamel. We mentioned Minnesota 29% on their power play this year. No Jonna Curtis, though, so that's a big absence. Lawrence. Back to Baldwin, across to the left side. A big drive by Bouye, and that one blocked aside by Waleko. 16:20 remaining in this second period. Down to 15 in the penalty on Connecticut's Taylor Marchand. And the scrum still continuing in that corner. 3 Whitecaps in digging for control, and they get it. Nice poke there by Doyle. The penalty is over, and the Whale kill off the penalty. So they're now 15 of their last 17 on the penalty kill as the puck is lobbed all the way out through the neutral zone. Evangelist to the slot. Oh, a shot and a goal by Vlasic. A good kick save made by the veteran Amanda Levier. Minnesota through the neutral zone. Sam Donovan had it poked away by Marchand. It was Donovan that drew the penalty a couple of minutes ago against Connecticut. And Barnes has her stick lifted. Good defense here coming from Connecticut to get it out to center. Kleinbach flips it up the boards. And going back for it is Chelsea Rosenthal, who gets spun off the puck in behind her own net to the left side. Orlando with a one-time blast that's well off target. And Oliva will lift the stick of Maddie Evangelos and get it back. Throws it behind for Rosenthal. Spun back now for Oliva. Up the wall, off of the stick of Sam Donovan, driven back into the Minnesota zone. So right out of the end of the penalty, Erica, the Connecticut Whale getting some momentum, at least keeping the puck out of their own end.
And we see there's a conversation in the chat about there only being 4 defenders for the Connecticut Whale. That certainly doesn't help them when they're on the PK. And also something to be mindful of as this game goes on. The forwards are going to have to make sure that they are being aggressive, getting good shots on. And then something that I've been harping is that, especially knowing that your D might be tired, you really have to get a stronger team defense from this Connecticut Whale team today.
Absolutely. And today, here's the thing. If the Whale are going to steal a couple of points, today might be that game because it doesn't seem like Jordan Brickner is going to play tomorrow. So they may be down to 4 defenders once again. And if they are, the fatigue factor is really what's going to kick in on the back end of a back-to-back series on a weekend.
That's correct. That's correct.
Puck in along the near wing side. Richards had it poked away. Rod tried to get back to it, loose in the neutral zone. Casey Anderson will shovel it in, but reclaimed by Baldwin. And now work back around to the former Riveter, Audra Richards. Up the boards. Nice play by Beatty to pick off that pass. It comes right back to her and led ahead now. Spun off the puck is Schwensfire. Played by Doyle at her line. She'll backpedal. Coming up on 6 minutes gone by to this second period. Still a scoreless one between Connecticut and Minnesota. From the left wing, Anderson comes in across the line offside and no further play with 13:56 to go. Here in this second period, shots are 14-13 in favor of the Whale.
And while we are scoreless here, and we'll everyone knows since we're in squad mode, but just to reiterate, we have a 1-1 score in Buffalo. The Boston Pride scored first, but Buffalo able to get one goal of their own.
And from the neutral zone, it's controlled by Orlando. Pitched in, Baldwin back with it. Mennigan trying to close that gap. Worked back around. Shamel for the Whitecaps will get it out to center. And across is Lawrence. Lawrence curls in around the goal. Still with it on his string, and they'll cycle down. Shamel had it broken up, but the Whitecaps able to keep it in. Lawrence, Shamel had it poked away. Mennigan stumbling a bit trying to start up with it. She's able to feed it to the left wing side. Marchand plays it across. Flicks it in behind the net. And a centering pass out in front, hit off his skate. Great keep in by Doyle. At the center point, lobbed the shot, which was blocked by Shamel, who gets it back in the neutral zone from Megan Lawrence. Here's Shamel, angling in. Shot was blocked by Beatty. Shannon Doyle sets the tone with the shot blocking on this team with a league-leading 33 coming into the game, but you can see the mindset's been taken by this Connecticut team here in recent weeks. Bouye skates across, moving to the slot, broken up by Houston briefly. Shot was blocked again. And now here's Barnes. 12:45 to go in the period. Bouye pedaling to the left, shot through traffic, was blocked in front, and now Martinson will play it off the boards. Martinson angling in, and that one was blocked by Vlasic.
Pickles.
Pickles with a block. Big drive from the right point by Bouye. That was off the mark, and Sam Donovan in the corner. Now behind the net, Anderson of Minnesota tied up by Beatty. Flipped up the wall, and Martinson with a good keep in along the boards with 12:18 to play in the period. Cross ice here for Bouye. The former St. Lawrence standout works it in behind the net. To the short side for Anderson. Backdoor pass. Fanned on by Donovan. Sharp angle try. They're going east to west on some of these passes, and we get the net knocked off its mooring with 12:03 to go in the second. Still scoreless here in Danbury.
Well, we saw that Minnesota, they seem to be itching for a goal. They're not happy with not being able to get a few of those shots on, while as Connecticut is really having to make sure that they are staving off the Minnesota Whitecaps. Just as a reminder, folks, as we get this goal placed back, there are now extensions in Twitch that will allow you to see the current matchups, league standings, and team player stats for the teams in action. So for today, that is, of course, Connecticut, Minnesota, Boston, and Buffalo.
Meanwhile, from the chat, Drake Smith A12, 3 Whale forwards on the PK. Wondering why? Well, we mentioned the Whale only have 4 defenders in the lineup tonight. Here's a turnover. Rosenthal tried to get to it between the circles, poked away, but pays on with the keeping. So when you only have 4 defenders in the lineup, you got to do what you got to do. And when one of those were in the penalty box at that moment, Taylor Marchand, you were down to 3 defenders.
There you go.
Here's Vlasic. Pickles pokes it down the wall, regained by Oliva. Good rink-wide pass as Minnesota looking to move in transition. On the near wing side, it's Thunstrom. Takes it all the way to the corner. Lost her footing on the puck, and now regained by Connecticut's Evangelist, who gets it clear to center, knocked back the other way. Thunstrom wants to run. What a toe drag. Works it in front. Backhand shot save. Rebound put on net. Waleko with back-to-back saves after a great toe drag by Allie Thunstrom.
What a sequence there. Allie Thunstrom, not only does she have speed, but she's got handles, folks. We just saw it right there. Able to make a great move on Taylor Marchand. When you have speed like Thunstrom, the great thing about being a smart player is that you can utilize that speed. You slow down a bit, you bait the defender, and then you zoom right by him, which is exactly what she did. But Brooke Waleko was up to the task, made 2 point-blank saves.
And she's having a fantastic game once again, and Thunstrom backhanding one from the corner, and Waleko will glove and hold on with 11:12 to play in the second period. Still zeros on the board between Danbury and Minnesota. As Connecticut will take the draw to the right of Waleko in their zone. Marchand has her stick lifted by Shamel. Coming over, Kendra Broad pokes it up the wall, and it's cleared out to center ice. It was knifed ahead by Casey Anderson, who tries to get around Baldwin. Baldwin works it in behind her own net and flipped up the ice. Well, one thing hasn't changed from year to year with this Minnesota Whitecaps team. They love to run. They like to play up-tempo hockey and push the pace, But the Whale have been very solid defensively here, and now Schwensfire puts it in on goal, save made by Levier.
And we've been talking about the defenders. Also remember Hannah Beatty, when she first came onto this team, she came on after finishing up her college season.
There's a loose puck out in front. Waleko was able to keep that away.
And she started as a defender for this team. Ryan Equali had her on defense, but also liked that she could be a two-way player. Mostly has been a forward this year, but we see she's dropped back knowing that there are fewer defenders, healthy defenders on this roster right now.
It's kept her in the lineup, and she's probably the one defender who takes faceoffs in this league on any kind of consistent basis because, as you mentioned, her two-way ability. Here's Kendra brought out to the neutral zone. Beatty with it. Ahead for Schwensfire. Weaves her way in across. Here's Schwensfire to the circle with a shot blocked. And Shamel got back to it in the circle, retreats to the corner, slaps it out to the neutral zone. As it goes through the wickets of Marchin, Orlando will come back for it as Waleko leaves it aside. 9:35 to go in the second period. The long pass ahead, and Vlasic able to deflect that in from the opposing blue line. Regained by Lisa Martinson. To Donovan out through center. She'll gain the Whale end. Backdoor pass to the left side. In front! Oh, Martinson was there at the top of the crease and pushed a little tip wide. That was a nice little tic-tac-toe play by the Whitecaps, but they could not finish.
Minnesota seems to be waking up, and now Connecticut's going to have to, again, make sure that they get on the board first, because if Minnesota keeps in this fashion, I think the game is going to favor and tilt in their direction.
There's a chance by Anderson with another stick save made there by Waleko.
Great clear by Orlando.
As the shot by Martinson hit off the body of Menigan. Martinson right back with it, moving to the high slot, looks for room, and again another shot gets blocked, I think again by Menigan. It's kind of lunging over a bit. She felt that last one. Good offensive zone time here from the Caps. Bouye with it right side, shot through traffic, and Waleko got a piece of it with the blocker as that one was trying to find the spot inside that far post. And now it's poked back in behind. Jumping on is Richards, has a little bit more pep in her step as this Whale crew have been kept out on the ice for a while. Orlando looking for that puck. I think the Whale would be happy to just ice things here to get a couple of moments to get a breather with 8:10 to play in this second period. It's been well over 90 seconds, Erica, since the Whale have been pinned back in their own zone.
They seem to have lost the pace. They've lost the ability to control the game here, Phil.
But a big save there by Waleko. She holds on. That will allow a change. And immediate timeout. 8 minutes to play in the second. Still scoreless between the Whale and the Whitecaps. Back in a moment on Twitch. Eight minutes to play in this second period. Connecticut and the Minnesota Whitecaps are scoreless at the Danbury Arena as the puck is flipped across the line, hacked away, and Rosenthal will go back for it for the Caps, looking to get it clear. Kept alive by Houston. Looks to move it down the wall. She'll skate with the puck. Lost the footing in the circle, but then turned back from the blue line by Beatty, steered aside by Levier, and Paysan's got it out in the neutral zone. Rink-wide pass brings Richards into the Connecticut end. Richards curls back around with a wrap try. Waleko the save. Good play in front by Connecticut to get that out, but Minnesota keeping the zone as Galtieri couldn't get it clear. And now it's Paysan with it for the Caps to Thunstrom, who's had her share of chances here in this contest, but it remains zeros on the board. And now Jane Morissette will force it ahead, stumbling a bit in the neutral zone, but coming away with it somehow is Sarah Hewson. To Morissette. A little behind the back shot on net, and it's tucked in by Levier, so the Whale will get an offensive zone draw here in the period of the long change, the second with 7:05 to play, and it's scoreless.
There have been a few times, Phil, along that far side where Connecticut has fumbled a little bit on that entry, and I don't know if it's a little bit of fatigue or players maybe just not communicating, but they are looking at just a little bit slow, a little sloppy there. That's something I'd like to see them clean up.
Whitecaps through the neutral zone. Shamel into the Whale end. Behind the net now for Lawrence. Loose in the circle. Broad poked it behind her net. Pinned to the wall is Marchand. Coming over is Schmid. Back toward the blue line. Baldwin to the half wall. Scooped off the boards by Shamel. Shamel threads it in front. That one got through to Waleko. Flashing down low. Looked like Brought. Whitney Brown trying to get to that. Meanwhile, a turnover out in front. Here's Lawrence with a chance. Poked away from the top of the crease. And now Lawrence gets stripped by Kendra Broad. Work back around for Orlando. Waits on it. Banks it off the glass, and it's cleared out to center ice, where Baldwin will get to it. Sydney Baldwin with 6 minutes to play in the second period. Moves it up the ice. Now it's skated across by Shamel toward the corner. Sharp angle try. It's loose in the slot. Blocked in front by Doyle. Regained by Donovan. Trying to move to her left. Backhands a shot wide. And Marchand will hammer it out to the wall. Kept in at the blue line by Baldwin. Dumped down the boards toward the corner with 5:40 to play in the second. Back up top here, and Baldwin couldn't keep it in. Turning on the Jets is Kayla Menigan, who looks to get to that puck. Levier comes way out of the crease to play it. Tapped up the boards, and it shot in just wide from the wing as Levier was late to get back to the crease. And Shannon Doyle was looking for the game's first goal and missed it by inches.
You see her tap her stick as she makes her way back. A little bit frustrated she couldn't get a better shot there, maybe even ping the post and knock that in.
And it was one of those things where there just wasn't enough time, I think, for Shannon Doyle to realize the opportunity that she had. Now it's Thunstrom with a backhand shot blocked in front by Beatty. And Hannah Beatty will advance here for Connecticut. Has Kleinbach and Menigan. Beatty in across the line from the point, a shot, and Levier holds on with 4:50 to go in the second.
If I were on this Connecticut Whale team on the bench, I would kind of want someone or something in this game to kind of wake this team up. I think they've found themselves kind of in neutral a little bit here, Phil. Not one way or the other, but I think they need to really up the energy. So apropos to here, I believe that's Black Eyed Peas there playing from the PA.
It was the Black Eyed Peas as the puck is iced here with 4:40 to go. And the faceoff will come back the other way with a scoreless second period on the board here in Danbury, Connecticut. Meanwhile, Buffalo and Boston 1-1 after 20 minutes. Upstate New York as the 11-0 Pride looking to maintain their unbeaten season. And the faceoff is controlled along the boards by Minnesota. Martinson digs it off the wall, shoveled in behind the net, loose there, picked up by Galtieri as she tried to center a pass, and it's taken away by Ali Thunstrom, who had a great look earlier in the period. Now shoots it from the wing, sticked aside there by Waleko, and Galtieri will bang it out to center, but right to Martinson, and across now for Bouye. Weaves her way in across the line, had it poked, but she keeps it right on her stick. Now flipped ahead, Houston with a pass, finding Galtieri, who tried to get a step on Martinson, never could calm that puck down, and Martinson was able to get back and defend. Now the long outlet looking for Shamel, as she will get to it in the corner. Nope, beat to the puck by Beatty, around for Doyle. Shamel works it in deep. Now loose top of the crease. Sprawling with the leg pads is Waleko, and she hangs on with 3:46 to play in the second period.
Well, the Whitecaps again right there knocking on the doorstep, but Waleko standing tall. And right after we heard Black Eyed Peas, it was Foo Fighters, Monkey Wrench, actually. I was going to say something clever about the lyrics there, but I don't know that Whale fans would necessarily like 1 in 10. On the upside, though, if we mentioned 1 in 10, that means they would win tomorrow.
Or they would win today and then lose tomorrow. Either way, you'd be
Either
1
way.
in 10. But
There you go.
but they have that 1. So
There you go.
they never would be exactly 1 in 10. They won't have that. Here's Kendra Broad. Sharp angle try over the glove side of Levier. Casey Anderson can't keep it in. Caps get it out to center ice as Shamel try to move it ahead, and I think a hand pass is called here. Nope, too many skaters on the ice. There's a penalty coming up with 3:18 to go in the second period. Who do they get for too many? It was right between the benches. That might be on Minnesota, or maybe not. Nope, it is on Connecticut, and Haley Payne is going to serve the penalty here at the 16:42 mark. Tough break here for Connecticut, as once again the Caps a chance to get the game's first goal in the power play.
And again, we see the Connecticut Whale. We already know, we've talked about them being short defenders. They're going to have to now be on the PK here.
This time, though, the Whale will have all 4 of their defenders available on the kill. Shamel with it along the half wall as we come up on 3 minutes to play in the period. Up top for Baldwin to the left side. A big drive from Bouye was blocked in front, but it comes right back to Bouye in her 3rd year in the league. Straight away to Baldwin. To Shamel from the right side. In the slot. Nice stick there by Marchand to get that out. The Whale have 1 shorthanded goal this season. Minnesota has not allowed a shorty. That shorthanded goal was scored last Sunday here by Casey Anderson. It really was. And we'll see if the Whale look to play opportunistic on their penalty kill. Maybe a little bit more conservative against this group, given how well they have played on the advantage this season. Schmid in the corner. Flips it back up for Bouye. 58 left in the penalty. Straight on for Baldwin. To the right side for Shamel. In the corner off the skate. Lawrence up top. Baldwin shot through traffic, and that got a piece of Marchand and went wide. Bouye cycles down low, and a shot in on goal by Shamel is tucked in by Wolejko, who has stopped a lot of rubber here in this second period. Unofficially, 18 shots, 28 in the game.
Yeah, she's definitely, again, making a case to see more minutes, whether that's a split with Shelly or she takes over from here. We will only find out. And that's the thing. We don't know what's happening in practice. We haven't gotten any reports as far as an injury report. But we will certainly try to find out more about what Colton Norris thinking about his goalie situation.
Vandon in the corner. Well, he has to like what he sees out of Wolejko last weekend. This puck is slapped out to the point. Oliva there. And I think as the Whale have improved their team defense, regardless, the goaltenders have both of them have pretty good pedigrees. Wolejko played at both St. Lawrence and then also Plattsburgh, a top Division III program. And then obviously Sonia Shelley played her whole career at St. Lawrence, where she was part of a really good goaltending tandem a season ago, one of the better tandems in the ECAC as we come up on 8 seconds remaining in the bench minor to the Whale. Haley Payne serving it. Now Payson will skate in across the line. Forced out wide by Beatty. Payson in front, a backhand shot off the side of the goal, and it's sprawled on by Wolejko as the penalty comes to an end.
And so in the chat, I missed the original question about chirps. Yes, there are definitely chirpers in the NWHL. Some names that were brought up: Packer, Madison Packer, Maddie Elia, Dina Trevino when she was here, Emily Fluke, currently active with the Boston Pride. But here's the thing. There are those chirps, which I think those are more, shall we say, not so nice chirps. Then you have chirpers like someone like a Megan Bozak, who I understand she chirps in a way that it almost makes you want to laugh on the ice because she comes with the most ridiculous types of things to say. And it's really more not about insulting her opponent, but throwing them off their game. I like that. That's a smart player right there.
Oh, it's not as expected, right? If
Exactly.
if someone's going to be a little antagonistic, when Madison Packer's chirping your way, you probably know what to expect. But if you've got someone doing a stand-up act on the ice and it's funny and it's good, you're all of a sudden not thinking about hockey, and you're laughing and you're maybe a little bit too jovial. And and then all of a sudden, oops, you got beat. Especially if
Exactly.
it's Megan Bozick with that slap shot of hers. So
Yeah, you got to pay full attention.
absolutely. Take cover. Here's Beatty. 38 to play in the period. In the circle to Casey Anderson. Got tied up there. Donovan trying to move the puck up the ice. She was stood up by Schwenzfire, but Barnes able to get it out to center. Now skated across by Winnie Brown. Brown with 25 to go in the period. Poked away to the line. Good work there by Broad to get that out to the neutral zone. The Caps look to gain control, but Barnes was forced all the way back into her own end. Now the rink-wide pass tracked down by Anderson in Minnesota. Shooting one. That knuckled in, but Waleko hangs on with 10.3 to go in the period.
Again, we see a Connecticut goalie stepping up. Now we need the Connecticut Whale to do right by their goalie, Brooke Waleko. Get that first goal. I believe we saw someone in the chat, Phil, say they think Mennigan's going to get that first goal of the game. What do you think, folks?
I think that's not a bad prospect. She always seems to be kind of in the right spot to put the puck in the net. Meanwhile, Baldwin in a good keep in 4 seconds to play in the period. Anderson with it for the Caps, centered in front, broken up by Vlasic, and the puck is cleared out of the zone to end the second period. But this one belonging to the Whitecaps momentum-wise, unofficially 21 second period shots to 8-4 Connecticut, but after 40 minutes, there are still zeros on the board.
Still zeros on the board, and I think you always wonder what Whitecaps team you're going to get. They have split a series already with Connecticut, and so on the one hand, Connecticut can hang in with them just as they are. But on the other, you have to, as a member of this Whale team, have in the back of your mind that they put an 8 spot up on this team. And so, again, you need to be, as a member of the Connecticut Whale team, really kind of getting the team going a little bit more. There's a kind of lower energy than I think. There's not enough energy that they have to really push this game into the direction that they want, which is not only to score first, but to get their first win.
Yeah, and they need it. Yeah, they need a win in a big way. We've talked a lot about how it really doesn't matter how you start the year, it's how you finish. The 24-game schedule, if it does anything, it gives you kind of more time to figure your stuff out and get things in a good place. So even though the Whale are 0-9-1, they still have a lot of time to get it together, and they really need to, if they can become a cohesive unit with about 8-9 games left in the season, 10 games left in the season, you come in for that playing game, and they look destined to probably play in that 4 versus 5 game, unless they really go on a big run and a couple of other teams kind of fall back. But we've seen the Riveters start to pick up some wins, and obviously it looks like no one's catching Boston, at least for first place or second in the division. Minnesota and Buffalo are kind of going back and forth. So, teams are starting to figure out where they're going to be, but it's how you finish the year.
I guess what I was trying to say earlier is that there just seems to be a lack of urgency. And compare that to, again, the top team. Boston plays with urgency every second of every game. I think that really sets them apart.
It does.
When you look at that game, if you didn't have the scoreboard in front of you, you might think that they were trying to get a game-tying goal.
Yeah.
Let alone their 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th goal of the game. They always play with that intensity, that urgency. I'd like to see Connecticut find their version of that.
That's a culture. I mean, it's talent. Make no mistake, Boston's a supremely talented team in this league, but it's also a culture and developing that. And Paul Mayer has been able to do that with the team, a lot of returning players. And then you see some of the players that they've brought in, some key rookies, but also veteran players. Your Emily Flukes of the world, your Alyssa Wallfilers of the world, if we're going to talk about former Connecticut players as well in the broadcast here this afternoon, and they've all bought in. So I think you see that when they play with that kind of sense of urgency. And we've seen it through other teams. I think we saw it with the Riveters of 2 years ago when they won the championship. They had that sense of urgency, and they had a confidence with Katie Fitzgerald in the year that she had in goal. And when you have that type of goaltending, and you've got Lovisa Savelander in for Boston, and she's a supremely talented national goaltender for Sweden. You just have all that confidence in the world playing in front, and they're committed to their systems, and they kind of get the job done. But that sense of urgency, that's an organizational thing. We talk about seeing that 2 years ago from the Riveters. We didn't see that last year from the Riveters, and it was noticeable. And here with this Connecticut team, I think what you see is a lot of returning players. I think that helps them. And now it looks like they're starting to, they got to figure things out offensively. But you're starting to see that commitment to defense. I think with the team, they got in front of a lot of shots, even though they had to spend a lot of time in their zone. They felt, I don't want to say comfortable doing it, but they weren't completely out of their element having to defend in their own zone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just taking a look down. We actually, the area where we usually sit is actually blocking my view of the Connecticut Whale bench, but I believe it's Mennigan and Kleinbach that have stayed on the bench, and they're having a conversation with each other. Now, Mennigan is certainly a name that others have thrown out. She's a points leader, a goal-scoring leader on this team, and Kleinbach is someone else as well that can really get this team going, and that's, I guess, also what I want to see. You have two players that are sitting on the bench. They're talking things out. I can't speak to what they're talking about. But
You can go down, you can tap them on the
I'm
shoulder
gonna,
and ask.
Excuse me, hello. Can you
Get
tell me your
eavesdrop.
whole strategy? But if it were me, if I were sitting aside with another player on a bench in a game like this, a lot of what we just said is what I'd want to be talking about. Maybe one of them sees something on the ice that they want the other to take advantage of. That's what you need. That's that type of leadership which
For sure.
builds into that culture. When you have a team that is having to build that culture on the fly, new head coach, lots of new players, new general manager, new arena, all of these things go into that culture. And sometimes you have to build it on the fly. So I'm very curious to see what adjustments, if any, these two players in particular make as we head into the third period.
Oh, Boston scorer in the chat says, well, as the talent coach needs to find the right mixture of lines. That's, that goes into it, right? Trying to figure out what you got and how you can get the most from the talent that's on your roster. You don't get in this league, you don't get an opportunity to really kind of work through the season and rebuild your roster. There's, there are players out there, and you might be able to find one here and there. I know Boston signed a player today for this weekend's games for a PTO, but there's just not a lot of high end. Let's just pull people off the street to come in and play. So you really have to work within the constructs of what you have, and with the way the schedule kind of shakes itself out, I don't know if you really get an opportunity even to see college players come in at the end of the season, because the season ends, I think, right at the end of February. Right before the start of March is when the NWHL season ends, and you've got college seasons pretty much still going on at that point in time. I want to say that February 28th, 29th weekend might be the very tail end of the ECAC season, which, of course, ECAC is where you would see Connecticut and the Riveters and Boston look to find college players if they need them, because that's your predominant league, or Hockey East for that matter as well. But I think they're still going at that point as well. So you don't get a lot of players. I remember last year, the Whale made a whole bunch of changes in that final weekend. We saw Jessica Koizumi come back for the final weekend of the season, and they brought back they brought in a goaltender from BU who had graduated a couple of years ago. Ryan Aquali was trying everything and anything, and I know one of the things he was trying to figure out was the Connecticut Whale were on the road, and they were playing an ECAC tournament, and there was going to be a possibility of him bringing in, he was trying to anyway, and this is old news now, it was kind of kept under hat at that point. He was trying to bring in Quinnipiac players. He was trying to bring in that whole top line with Melissa Stamiskevich and Randy Markon, who was like red hot down the stretch, but it never did quite work out. I don't know if teams are going to have that ability this year.
Yeah, it'll be tight. I mean, you always have the option, of course, if there's a team that either has a early exit, but that is just a quick turnaround. And of course, we know there are lots of NCAA rules as far as being able to even speak to players, so that makes it difficult as well. So yeah, you're looking for players maybe that are a year or two or more out of college and that happen to still be playing and able to come in and make an immediate impact, because you don't just want a player for the sake of a body. I think right now, if Connecticut were to bring in a new player, it'd have to be someone whose game is going to be able to elevate the team. But then also, you also maybe want to look at maybe an older player like a Jessica Koizumi type. A player that has veteran experience, who maybe has been coaching and can really help bring the development of that culture to the next level. But, I think just again, this is a very, very hardworking, very nice, polite Connecticut team. But at some point, they're really going to have to get over that hump. And sometimes you have to introduce conflict in order to really show your coach, show the rest of the league what you're made of. And I wonder what that is going to look like for this Whale team.
It'll be interesting. And again, we don't have a lot of – Colton Orr doesn't have a lot of coaching experience. We can look back on his playing career. So you mentioned conflict.
Yeah.
He was not one to shy away from conflict. But again, it's we don't know what he's like yet as a coach. We only have a very small sample size, and he may be completely different as a coach, and that will come to find that out. Meanwhile, we got a few minutes to go before the start of the third period. Erica and I will take a short break, but we'll continue to monitor the chat, and we'll look to definitely chat with you folks watching the broadcast when we get set for the start of the third period in just a little bit. You're watching the NWHL on Twitch. Their first victory as they host the 5-3-2 Minnesota Whitecaps, but right now neither team with a goal on the board. It's 0-0. Unofficially, shots in the second period. Minnesota 21 for a game total of 31. The Whale with 7 for a game total of 18. And the third period underway with Kleinbach of Connecticut looking to keep the zone. Puck flipped out to the neutral end and played by Beatty inside the Whale zone to our left. Still a big question on the board, Erica. Who will get the game's first goal?
Indeed. I think that a lot of people in the thread are hoping that Connecticut will get the first goal, but it's been looking, especially if we go off of the momentum at the end of the second period, like it might be Minnesota. So question is, if it is and can be Minnesota, who do we think can be the goal scorer to bust things wide open?
If I was a betting person, and I'm not a betting person, but if I was a betting person, I would say Ali Thunstrom. For her speed, she has played a good game, but just her speed and ability, because it almost seems like at this point, although Minnesota's had periods of intense zone time in the Connecticut end, it feels to me like they just want to spring a home run pass to get a breakaway in the game's first goal. Puck is loose at center and gathered back by Winnie Brown, who curls around Casey Anderson, fell down in the neutral zone. No tripping call there. And now Schmid will dump it in deep, looking for Schamel. Cut off by the defenders Marchand and Orlando. And it's Marchand hammering it ahead. And let's see, can Casey Anderson beat out the icing? She can. She turned on the speed to beat out that icing call and then promptly falls in the corner as Lauren Barnes tries to dig the puck out and does. Whitecaps get it out to center. Here is Stephanie Anderson through center for Sam Donovan. Donovan, the backdoor play, broken up nicely by Orlando. And now thrown back in front, Galtieri looking to play that. Regains it along the near side, shoveled ahead. And through center ice with it is Sarah Houston. Has Morissette in front. But a nice defensive play that time by Amanda Bouye to poke that one behind the net.
That was a nice play by Houston to knock that puck down. It almost got by her, but she was able to make a nice little move to keep that puck in possession.
It kind of had a reach behind her and did so without lifting the stick high, because that's also the first thing that often happens is the stick comes up over the shoulder and then ends up being a face-off. A little over 2 minutes played to this third period. Shots unofficially 32-18 in favor of Minnesota. We got 21 of those shots in the second. The Whales spent a lot of that period pinned back in their zone, also having to kill off a couple of Whitecap power plays. Martinson with a keep-in, diving attempt that time, and a great job by Shannon Doyle to get that out.
Who else?
She sacrifices life and limb, it seems, as they crash the net and score. Minnesota does get on the board with 17:26 left to go in regulation. It was a shot from the wing. It was stopped by Waleko. The puck sat there at the top of the crease. And it's Allie Thunstrom who buried the rebound, and it's 1-0 Caps.
Now, you said you're not a betting person, Phil. I'm not a bookkeeper, but if I were a bookkeeper, I would not count that for Allie Thunstrom.
That was, yeah.
Because I'm almost positive that bounced off a Whale player. There was the original shot Waleko had, and then actually it looked like the goal might have come off of the moorings there, but play goes on, and it was batted in by somebody, but there's no own goal in hockey.
No, there's not. If it had bounded off a Whale player, as you said, it would have been the person taking the shot from the right wing. That's who would have gotten the goal, Audra Richards. She gets the assist.
Well, there you go.
On the goal, and the thing is, and if we were perhaps in the NCAA, where there is replay, they would have looked at that. I don't think that would have gone without a review.
Yeah, I have a feeling maybe it went off of Vlasic. She was certainly talking with the officials after that to try and understand if there was maybe some things that happened that shouldn't have to make that goal go away, but it stands, and it is 1-0 in favor of the visiting Minnesota Whitecaps.
Now the Whitecaps 5-2 this season when they score first. Here's a shot from the slot broken up in front, and now Schwensfire takes it out through the neutral zone. 2-on-2 with Anderson. A third joining, that's Doyle. Shot in on goal, save made by Amanda Levier. Doyle right back with it, throws it out in front. Schwensfire trying to get to that puck. She's a stride late. And the Whitecaps get it out to center ice with 4 minutes gone by in this third period. Schwensfire battling in front of the Minnesota bench. Took it across the line. It promptly gets by her, and Baldwin will get it clear up through the far wing, but Orlando in her own zone will go D-to-D and back from Taylor Marchant.
I was looking at the chat to see if anyone called me out on being a jinx. That seems to be my calling card, along with commercial karaoke. But the thing is, though, Phil, you kind of see the pace of the game as it's going, and you just kind of put things out there because we knew this game couldn't stay stuck the way it was.
No, not at all. There was a lot of momentum coming for Minnesota. Anderson looks to clear, got it off of Marchant. Now we got a 2-on-1 as Barnes comes in across the line with numbers for the Whitecaps. Will did a good job getting back, fired in on net from the top of the crease by Brown and held onto by Waleko with 15:15 left in this third period. And I think even in giving up that goal, that was, Waleko was not going to stop that one. She's been, I think, the best player on the ice for either side. 33 saves so far.
Oh, absolutely.
Pretty fantastic game.
And what I like about her style, and maybe goalie guild can do a better job breaking this down, but she doesn't allow a lot of rebounds.
No.
But the dangerous chances that have happened have come when there have been rebounds. She's really able to see the puck clearly and cover up really well and, bring that puck into her body almost as you would if you were a football player making a run.
Here's Donovan in across the line, poked there by Doyle. Donovan gets it back, looks to drop it off to Payson, broken up by Menigan, and a broken stick out at center ice. And coming to the bench, I think that was Kleinbach, who was arguing for a slashing penalty, and they don't call it. It looked like someone snapped their stick in two at 14:37 to play.
She was not happy. I think she was right by her bench when the stick broke and almost kind of, softly threw it forward as in protest to show what had happened. Hoping for something there, but to no avail.
It goes unnoticed. Not a penalty called yet today against Minnesota. As the Caps, with a 1-0 lead now and 14.5 to go, control it inside the Connecticut zone. Audra Richards works it in deep. Pass out in front. Comes to the top of the circles. The Whale get it back, and they'll look to advance. Rink-wide pass on the tape. Here's Kendra Broad. Broad working down low. Got hauled down near the net. Clean play by Martinson. And then the Whale looked to dig for it back along the near wing side. Some good work there as Marchant pinching along the boards. Pops back up, finds Kendra Broad. Broad in behind the net, tied up by Martinson. Bouye comes over, looks to get around Broad. Broad battles in the corner, chipped up the wall. kept in briefly with 13:50 to go in this third period. Bouye trying to turn away from danger, clear to the line, and held there by Marchand, who finds Broad in the corner. Looking to feed it behind for Schwensfire. Too far for her. Thunstrom looks to bank it out. Kept in. Marchand with a drive. That deflected wide. Anna Beatty jammed down the wall. Gave it right back. And Minnesota will get it out to center ice. Thunstrom speeds along after it. Was a stride late. And regained by Galtieri. Trying to free Morrisstead along the left wing side. Too far for her. And now here's Lisa Martinson with 13:15 to go in this third period with her team up 1-0.
And this is when the urgency, this is when a little bit of the fire, you got to get some of that now that the Whale are down a goal in this third period, Phil.
And Minnesota looks to gain the zone once again. A little bit too far in the pass. Doyle banked out to center. Taken by Rosaliva, but reclaimed briefly by Connecticut. Here's Hannah Beatty now with 12:45 to go in regulation. Over off the boards for Doyle. Doyle retreating from the pressuring Nicole Schamel, drops it off behind her net. And coming back after it is Doyle. Doyle looks up ice, held by Oliva, winds and shoots one, save made. Rebound is covered up by Waleko with 12:30 to go.
You saw that. Waleko, she gave up that rebound, was looking to cover with her glove, and then it looked like Lawrence came in as she was covering up. I'm sure Lawrence did that with the intention of hoping that she wasn't able to cover it cleanly, but whistle already blew. And so here we go with the face-off. We'll win it.
Connecticut with it out to center. Here's Marchand. Gets hammered along the boards, and that'll be a body check called. First penalty to go against Minnesota in this game. It's a check on Megan Lawrence, and finally we'll see Connecticut go to the power play with a chance to tie it up.
So Connecticut, not known for their strong power play, but now is as good a time as any to get things going. And first penalty, we know that the Minnesota Whitecaps, we talked about it earlier, don't come in with a lot of penalty minutes as a team. I will say, though, that I think they could have easily picked up another penalty or two in this game.
Yeah, not much has been called. You look at the tripping that Sam Donovan drew back early in the second period. The body check was all too obvious, and then too many skaters on the ice as the cross-ice pass stolen by Thunstrom. She's off to the races, blows right by Doyle. There's a backhand shot. Waleko did not cover up. And that is a goal for Allie Thunstrom, shorthanded. Just 9 seconds into the Whale power play. Thunstrom with 2 in the game, and it's 2-0 Whitecaps.
Well, I tell you, Allie Thunstrom there, she's got now 2 goals in this game. It was deceptive even to me. Brooke Waleko, I thought she had covered that up. I think actually Thunstrom was able to slip it right through. We don't have a replay today, but looks like she was able maybe to slip that through 5-hole. But that was just, you know, a pass that didn't have enough sauce on it.
No.
And Allie, you know, she's got more than enough sauce, and she's got the jets, was able to anticipate that also. The Connecticut Whale, they're not the fastest team, they're not the most physical team, but they have to be good passers because of those two things. And that was a pass that was easy to identify. Thunstrom picks it off, and right there, just seconds into your first power play, you give up a shorthanded goal.
There's a drive by Marchand, jammed in front. Good save there by Levier as Schwensfire couldn't get to the rebound, and the Caps get it clear. Minnesota 76% on their penalty kill this season. They're 6 for 7 against the Whale in the prior 2 games that were played here. Connecticut's power play just 11%, which is last in the league, but they are in their last 3 games, 3 of 19, which is just under 16%. So a little bit better in recent weeks, just like the penalty kill, but still a 0 on the board as it's pitched up over to Emma Vlasic. Now to Orlando, looking backdoor, broken up, and Vlasic trying to backhand that one even closer. Couldn't get to it as it is along the right wing side, and Barnes gets stripped by Marchand. 30 seconds remaining in the power play for Connecticut, but they give one back, and special teams now has become a factor in this game in a big way. Well, they're giving an assist to Payson on that
It's interesting
goal
to
to
me.
Thunstrom, although it looked like it was cleanly played. And now here's Mennigan on the far end, a shot, big toe save by Amanda Levier, who actually got faked out in the wrong direction, but she had enough reach with the leg pads to seal up that post. As the wrap try from Hannah Beatty is broken up by Martinson, the penalty comes to an end and the Whaler 0 for 1 on the power play, down 2-0.
What a save by Levier. I think Mennigan had the right idea, but again, you just don't see enough. I don't know if it's enough force, maybe is what I'm trying to say on that shot. You beat Levier, but you need to pound that puck in. You're right there on the doorstep. Don't think about it. Pound it in, because if you don't, then Levier gets just enough time to get her tippy toe out there to make the save.
And that's exactly what it was, as Kleinbach gets called for the penalty. So we'll see her in the box. Third power play for Minnesota. Megan Lawrence around the net. Caps up 2-0. One-time touch pass by Bouye, who thought about blasting one and then had a player in the slot. The Whale able to break that up and get it clear, but the Caps are right back in. Halfway through this Kleinbach penalty, Baldwin to the right side for Schamel. Angles in, try to drag it around to the top of the crease, and it goes past the reach of Richards. As Bouye will pinch to the corner, back up top now for Baldwin. Shot through traffic, blocked by Marchand and cleared, sent down.
Saw in the chat that Android 17 Los Angeles saying, anyone else wishing for overtime? Well, we got a ways for that to happen, at least as far as the Connecticut Whale are concerned.
What was the score when he put that up there? Or she put that up there? I don't know what Android 17 Los Angeles, that doesn't give anything away in terms of who the person is. 20 seconds remaining in the penalty on Kleinbach. Like Beatty might have gotten elbowed, but play continues. Here's Martinson with it. Throws it down low in front, loose in the slot. Good defensive play by Connecticut to get that out. No surprise, it's Shannon Doyle. And the penalty has come to an end, so now the Connecticut Whale 3 for 3 on their penalty kill tonight, but here is Rose Oliva. Oliva from the slot shooting one, broken up, as Oliva tries to cut off Galtieri on the boards as we're under 8 minutes to go in regulation. A pair of Allie Thunstrom goals in this third period has her team on top by 2.
Too bad you're not a betting man,
I
Phil.
know. Well, I didn't pick her I didn't pick anyone for the second goal. But now we're on hat trick watch. I guess that's the question. Does she get one?
Yeah. Speaking of hats, I do want to get this in here since we don't have multi-camera. I
We
wore my
don't.
festive hat today.
Oh, you've got the Mets
I've got
holiday
the
hat.
Santa hat, yeah. Which, of course, we want to wish everyone watching and listening a happy holidays.
And we'll do that again tomorrow. Maybe we'll have the multi-camera tomorrow. I honestly
Maybe.
don't know. And then you could bring the
I
hat
have
right
a
back.
different
There
one
you go.
that has the holly on it, so I'll wear that one tomorrow.
There you go. Loose in the slot, off the skate of Morissette. Back in the corner, banked around. As Brown will pass behind her net. Centering feed turned over. Morissette out in front. Kendra Broad trying to lunge over for the backhand. Levier got in the way. And out with it comes Minnesota's Anderson. Down the boards in the corner. Marchand meets her in the corner. Shoveled back around. And Marchand regains it with 6:40 to go. Cleared out to center. And along the left wing, Sarah Houston will poke it in with 6.5 to go. Tries to get to it away from Baldwin. Baldwin, good-sized defender, gets a clear rink wide. Off the far boards, Beatty is there. But Haley Schmid able to cut in across the line. Schmid centering ahead. It is a little bit too far for Schamel as Doyle banked up the wall, but taken back by Bouye. Pass to the slot, fanned on by Lawrence, and she'll get it back in the corner as we come up on 6 minutes to play in the period. Fed in from the wing. Broken up and regained by Connecticut. Grace Kleinbach not able to get around Bouye. Hopping over was Doyle. Couldn't get in across the line with the puck. And now Vlasic will pitch it back to her own line. Beatty up ahead along the left side. A little too far for Vlasic. And in the corner, Bouye is there. Long shift for Amanda Bouye. Third-year veteran of this league. Now Shamelin across the line from the right side. Backhand shot, Waleko with the save, and she holds on with 5:33 to go. And we'll step aside for the media timeout. Back in a minute. You're watching the NWHL on Twitch. .533 to go in regulation. Connecticut trailing Minnesota by a score of 2-0 as the puck was thrown out in front and broken up.
And if you look at the chat, you'll see the word shutout multiple times. I think that's more of people trying to put the jinx on than anything else.
Well, right now, here's Thunstrom looking for the hat trick down the right wing side. Wrist shot hit off the pipe. She beat Waleko. My gosh, that speed.
She's on a roll.
Puck in behind. Minnesota looking to extend their lead. Handed off there. Shot in through traffic by Payson. Broken up in front by Waleko. And the Whale now race out through center. Galtieri in across the line. Forced wide by Martinson. Nice move by Galtieri looking to move to the front. Poked away. And Martinson got it back with 4:40 remaining.
Going back to that Thunstrom goal. Pinged right off the post, but we've been talking about urgency. Wanted to see it for Connecticut, but I'll be honest, outside of Waleko, who's been put to the test in this game, Allie Thunstrom seems to be wanting to take over this game. It was stagnant. We were at zeros for a long time. Allie Thunstrom's ready to get this thing going and get the win.
She's always quick on the ice, but you saw it in that last chance. There's another gear, and we're seeing it here in this third period.
Yep, she's definitely stepped it up, and that's what at times I feel this Connecticut Whale team is missing. I don't know that they have a player that not only can do that, but that can evoke that and get that from her teammates.
That is something. They don't have that single dynamic offensive player. They had it last year with Morozova. They've had it in years past with like Kelly Babstock or a Kelly Stack, who have that kind of speed to be able to really accelerate and change the pace of a game. As the puck is iced here by Connecticut.
Yes.
I don't know if they have
my favorites, Megan Puertas. You know, I had to
Megan,
say it.
yeah. But I think at the moment there's not a player. I don't want to say with the skills because I don't know the answer to that really.
Right.
Maybe with the confidence to be able to play that way.
Yeah. Casey Anderson has shown glimpses of it this season. Mennigan is steady.
Yes.
But it's hitting that next gear and being able to do it at will. And that's what Thunstrom has done in this game.
She has.
Make no mistake about that.
She has dominated this third period, and that's why her team's up by 2. Sharp angle try from the corner, bouncing puck in the slot. And we get a net knocked off its moorings with 3:22 left in this third period.
We get a all caps in here. Sign Ketchum, as in Bray Ketchum. Well, if you want the Whale to sign Bray Ketchum, you got to talk to Bray Ketchum.
Yeah. Does she want to sign herself? That's the question. So here's a reference. It's a sports movie reference to Major League 2. So I know, completely different world, completely different sport.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. Corbin Burnson had retired from playing, and then he signs him. So he made it. He bought the team. He was the owner, but I think he was also kind of the general manager. And then he signed himself,
There you go.
and they wouldn't play him. So that's the risk, right? Bray Ketchum signs herself, and then Colton Orr decides, well, I'm not going to play you. That wouldn't work out well, would it?
No, that would not. Be
And I'm
great.
sure she would play for sure, but
But I said I believe 17 is available on this.
it is. It is, as the puck is shot into the Connecticut bench with 2:43 remaining in regulation.
I mean, we know she's already got the dates circled on her calendar.
She's available, right? So that is true.
Bray is on the other side, opposite side of the ice, in a nice little suite, I'd say. It's sponsored by a local bank here, but she usually watches the games from over there.
Here's Thunstrom, toe drag in front, a shot, and that's a great glove save by Brooke Waleko with 2:36 to go.
And your first and second star, they embrace there as they crash into each other. All respect there. Allie Thunstrom, though, did have to use Brooke a little bit to brace herself on that last shot attempt. She ran right into the boards after pinging off the post.
Meanwhile, OOS Muppet says, don't know I could bear seeing Ketchum in a whale uniform. There's Martinson, a shot that was tipped just wide, 2:24 to go. Yeah, you get the longtime players, and unless it's Kaylee Fratkin, you don't think about seeing players that have been with their organizations a long time in a different uniform. As Colton Orr pulled the netminder for an extra attacker, and we have an empty net situation here after the Whale go offside.
Yeah, it is difficult, but we know that Bray has had a little bit of a break. She was retired
For a
after,
year, yeah.
Exactly. She retired after that championship with the Riveters, the 2018 championship. But she's embraced whole hog, or full whale, if you will, the Connecticut team. She's from Connecticut, the Nutmeg State.
Played at Yale.
Played at Yale. Is featured prominently at Chelsea Piers, playing softball, of all things. So, hey, why not?
Here's a turnover. Anderson for Minnesota with a shot blocker saved by Waleko, who went back in the net after that offside on Connecticut. We're down to $1.40 as Connecticut setting up back in their zone. 2-0 Minnesota. Shots are 40-20 for the Whitecaps. Waleko, another stellar outing in goal, but has been unable to keep a 0 on the board. Meanwhile, to the bench is Waleko for the extra skater. Puck is poked in. Behind the net is Amanda Levier looking for the shutout here with 1:18 to go. Puck in the circle, and Menigan will glide toward the corner. Kicked away from her with 1:10 to go. Emma Vlasic battling along the wall. And then flipped up, hit a body. Caps look to get it out. They do, but patrolling the neutral zone was Beatty. Led back to the left side and pitched in. Final minute of regulation, 2-0 Minnesota. Both goals coming in the third from Allie Thunstrom, including a shorthanded tally, which made it 2-0 at 7:54. Wrap try in front, a shot in on goal, and a save made by Levier. Whoa, wait a minute, we got a scuffle going on in front of the net with 47.6 to go, and presumably penalties will be called, and let's see how many and on whom.
Well, Galtieri was getting into it. She's got some fire. I like it. But right before that shot, Levier had lost her stick. It was well behind the net, and if there was a time for the Whale to put one on Levier, that was it. But they shot right into the body. You'd think they'd, want to look corner. You'd have to look at the replay to see if there was enough time to do that as that puck was presented in front. But my goodness, what an opportunity for the Whale, unable to capitalize. And now we see two players in the box. I believe that's Menigan.
It is Menigan and it is Schmid. And they need to fix the scoreboard because they have them both on one side of the ledger. The Whale would love it to be a 6-on-3 right now, but that is not the case. It should be a 4-on-4 situation, and then pending where they drop the puck, whether or not they let Waleko start off in the crease or not. My guess is they start Waleko maybe tops of the circles if they let her come back on the ice. Colton Orr's talking to his team right now. But matching roughing penalties at the 19-12 mark of the third period, and we'll at least start off 4-on-4. And the Whale will just keep the net empty and have a 5-on-4 skater-wise.
All right, well, this is not necessarily how I would have drawn it up, but I will say that sometimes the pushing, sometimes the shoving, sometimes the having to defend, even if artificially, your teammates will fire a team up. Will that happen for this Connecticut team?
Is there enough time? There may not be as the puck. Well, no one seems to want it. It's just sitting there for about 7 seconds. Now Thunstrom chasing after the empty net, looking for the hat trick, comes to the backhand, she scores! Allie Thunstrom a hat trick, and the Caps lead 3-0.
Boom, boom, boom. This is definitively now, Phil, Allie Thunstrom's game. The BC alumna, once trained for the Olympics as a speed skater, she has shown us what it is like to take over a game.
I think she has the speed skates on in this third period.
Is that regulation? We got to look into that.
No, they've got the really long blades, right? So that's her 7th, 8th, and 9th goals of the season. Natural hat trick for Thunstrom. Down to 23 seconds, yeah. And under 20 seconds to go. So Thunstrom, what a third period for the veteran Whitecap. Unassisted goal. 10 seconds to play, and the Whale are going to fall to 0-10-1 on the season. Minnesota, after these two teams battled to a scoreless 40 minutes, erupt for 3 in the third, and with that, the game is over. The Whitecaps win 3-0, and they are now 6-3-2 on the season. And Erica, these two teams will play once again tomorrow afternoon at 1:30. You and I got it on Twitch.
Yes, we do. And again, we talked about it. The Minnesota Whitecaps have had seesaw performances when they play, particularly the Riveters, as a matter of fact. But right now, my focus is on the Whale. This is a game where at some point they just kind of slipped into neutral and just were content almost. I'm sure they weren't, but if you look at the play, they just couldn't figure out a way to switch back into another gear. And quite honestly, neither could Minnesota. It was Allie Thunstrom who found the other gear. I've been talking about it, but I think it needs to be stated because that's problematic for both of these teams going into tomorrow.
Yeah, when you look back at the 3 goals scored this afternoon by Thunstrom, they were all great individual plays. The first one was her going real hard to the net. Second one, she steals a pass to score shorthanded. And the third one, she just turned on the Jets. Nearly had a 4th goal earlier when she hit the pipe on her first attempt at getting the hat trick. And I think you're right, Erica. It was really her play in the third period that turned things around. And if you could credit her with a shutout, you would do that too, because after that first period, Amanda Levier, 20-save shutout unofficially today. She didn't have to do much in the final 40 minutes.
She really didn't. I mean, except for, again, that save that she made when she lost her stick. But again, that was a shot that came right into the center of her body. I want to see the Whale figure out ways to make her move. We saw Mennigan had that opportunity, but when you're on the doorstep, bang it in with purpose. And we're just missing a little bit of that spice. We're missing a little bit of that aggression, a little bit of maybe it is that confidence that for the Whale. And as far as the Whitecaps, I don't think that I would characterize this as a team that lacks confidence. They don't lack skill, and they do have players that have played together because this has been historically a barnstorming team. That players that have been in this system that have played together and for these coaches. So that again is a little bit problematic for the Whitecaps and something that I think that they should focus on. But for the Whale, they're really going to have to come out and set the tone early and often for tomorrow.
They did in the first period. They couldn't keep up the momentum after the first 20 minutes of play. Really, even toward the end of that period, you saw Minnesota get their footing. Tomorrow should be interesting. We'll see if Colton Orr and Laura Brennan, look back at today's game and figure something out for tomorrow. And I'm sure, the Whitecaps will look to make some adjustments. And, while they did get the 2 points with the victory today, there are a lot of things they could probably look back on and say, hey, we could do better, in these areas, and we'll look to do it tomorrow. You and I will look to do it tomorrow again at 1:30.
Indeed, looking forward to it, and as promised, I'll have my festive hat on, ready to ring in another holiday season.
There you go. That'll do it here from the Danbury Arena. Again, your final score. It was Ali Thunstrom and the Minnesota Whitecaps 3, the Connecticut Whale nothing. For Erica Ayala, I'm Phil Jubileo saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow. You've been watching the NWHL on Twitch. Good night, everybody.